Give people just a little bit more time for 7. All right, I show that it's 7 o'clock. So in the interest of time, let's get started. I'm going to stop my video now here in just a minute. I'm Ashley Pash. I'm the Director of Product Program. Tashiana Avery is also on with us tonight. She's one of my product program managers. So she'll be helping me monitor the chat and all that fun stuff. Let's get started here. So just a little bit, a little bit of housekeeping. There's a Q&A box, a chat box, and after each of the topics, I will pause for questions. So if you have any questions that come up, you can put them in the Q&A box or the chat box or raise your hand. However, we will wait until I've talked about the entire topic, and then we'll stop to answer any questions that didn't get answered as I covered it. So here is our agenda for the evening. We're going to go over the starting inventory tool, where to find it, how to use it, how to place your starting inventory order on the initial order tab, how to select and submit your delivery site, and how to find your delivery confirmation and what to do with that. Oh, it says chat is disabled. I had this problem the other day. Let me, okay, so use the Q&A box because I can't find, Tatiana, you might look for it.
Yeah, I'm searching, but I'm thinking I can see it because I'm a panelist.
Sorry, guys. Let me see if I can find that. All messages. I do not see it. So Tashi, if you want to keep looking for it, if not, put your questions in the Q&A and we'll do that. So first I want to go over where to find the starting inventory order tool and then how to use it. So if you're at girlscoutsindiana.org, and you go to Cookies Plus, you can hover over it, Cookie Central. If you're in your phone, you're going to click Cookies Plus, and then on the right-hand side, you'll be able to pop open the side menu and navigate to Cookie Central. When you're in Cookie Central, you're going to scroll down to For Volunteers, Essentials for Volunteers, and then you can open it either as an Excel sheet or a Google Sheet, depending on what you have access to. When you're in the Google Sheet, it is going to pop up a warning that tells you you're editing something that maybe you shouldn't be. As long as you're only changing those yellow boxes, then you're totally fine. I am going to open the Excel sheet because then you can see the full locked down version in case you are using Excel. So I'm assuming most people on the call are new troops. So you're going to open it up. It's going to look like this. And then the thing that you need to worry about are these 3 boxes here. So you're going to pick your Girl Scout troop level. So I scrolled out and now it's too small to read. You're going to pick your Girl Scout troop levels. Let's say I'm a brownie. You're going to pick your service unit name. And let's say I have 10 girls selling. What's going to happen is it's going to populate this piece of the Excel file. So this shows you how many cases get you to 50% of your anticipated total sale. And then it is auto set to show you what 100% of your anticipated sale is. The way this is figured is we took the per girl average. So what, like for this particular instance, what brownies sell in our council on average in 2022? What did the Greene County service unit sell on average? What was their per girl average? And then it does a bunch of fancy behind the scenes math with VLOOKUP, multiplies it by those 10 girls, and it calculates it here. And then it is calculating on last year's variety breakdown. And one thing to note about that is Adventurefuls were limited last year. And so we did use that variety breakdown because the bakery suggested we keep that variety breakdown. However, just it's like that's a caveat, is that the Adventurefuls may or may not end up lighter than what you actually sell by the end of the program. So at the bottom, it's auto set to be 100%, but you can change it by dropping it down. You can look at anything from 40% all the way down to 100% on the 5s. And it gives you both the cases right here and then what that is in packages. So it is suggested on our end from the council level that a new troop orders 50% of their anticipated program. That's because you're going to have some of your girl delivered cookies automatically coming into the initial order tab, which we'll see here in a minute when I get there, as well as you're going to have cookies that come in on the digital cookie and on paper order cards after you've submitted. So on Friday night, you're going to submit. And then there's 2 more weeks before you get cookies. And in those 2 weeks, your girls will continue to sell cookies online and in person. And you're going to want to have cookies to cover anything that's come in so far. Because our cupboards do not open until Valentine's Day. So the first time that cupboards will be fully stocked and ready to go is Valentine's Day. And so this is going to make sure you have enough to get through those orders, plus your first couple of booths that you've signed up for. So 50% here is for this particular situation, brownies in Greene County, 10 of them in my troop that are going to sell. It suggests me to order 108 cases. And then in this variety mix. The thing to note as well, and when we get to eBuddy, I'll show you, this is overall. This is saying everything your girls order plus your troop order, this should be your total. So this isn't above and beyond what your girls are ordering. And then if this makes you a little nervous or you want to go, if you want to go a little lower, you can go to 40%. If you want to go a little higher, you can go to 60%. The nice thing is, at this point in the program, if you were to accidentally take out too many lemon ups, for instance, you can either call council or call your service unit cookie manager, and they're going to help find somebody that needs cookies. Anytime up before March 1st, that's how you'll operate, is you can let troops in your area know before they go to the cupboard. We always encourage troops to help sister troops before they go to our cupboard and take out more cookies. Some of our cupboard shares will help make those connections happen as well. So let's say you go to the cupboard because you need Thin Mints, but you again have an extra case or 2 of lemon ups that you're getting nervous about. You can let them know. Some of our cupboard shares will let the next few troops know and see if they're willing to get in contact with you to get rid of those. But as long as if you're feeling a little nervous, mid-February, late February, get a hold of council or get a hold of your service unit cookie manager. We're more than happy to help you find a troop who will take those cookies off of you. If you wait till after March 12th, obviously there probably isn't going to be a troop who needs cookies any longer. So just being more proactive. And then let's say you got rid of all your lemon ups, a girl turns in an order for 3 boxes, you can always go to the cupboard and pick up 3 more boxes. So that's the nice thing, is just being a sister to every Girl Scout. So don't let this 50% get you too nervous. And then below, it just reminds you of those dates. So this, those financial dates. So this Friday, there's a $1 test pool. So for any troop who has their bank account in, so returning troops should have their bank account in. They had until yesterday to do that. If you're a brand new troop, you actually have till February, so you don't need to worry about this. But the $1 test pool is on Friday, and then the next time that we'll pull money from your account is March 3rd, which is 50% of the amount you owe council, and then March 24th after everything's cleaned up and wrapped up. If you are a returning troop, this form looks a little different, and it pulls all of last year's totals over. So it looks like the last troop who keyed in was troop 9. So let me key in my daughter's troop. This will pull up, this first box will pull up everything that happened last year, the name of their service unit last year, how many girls they had selling, what was their per girl average, and then what was your per girl average minus Cookies for a Cause, because Cookies for a Cause is a virtual cookie that you're not handling in person. And so we want you to see that difference so that you know how many physical cookies you might be ordering. The next section down for returning troops tells you how many cookies you sold physically, or well, not physically, sorry, excluding Cookies for a Cause. So whether that be online or in person. Below that is what you put in as your starting inventory order. below that is what you did at cupboard pickups or troop to troop transfers. Sorry, my husky's getting talkative. So this is so that you can see kind of the breakdown. So for this troop, they did 43% of their order at initial order. They did 54, a little under 55% of running to and from cupboards or working with other troops to get cookies. And then they did just over 1.5% in shipped cookies. So you also don't handle those cookies. And so as a returning troop, it's important for you to look at what you did shipped. I know this year's shipped is going to look a little different and we only have 2 weeks, but as you're making your decisions about what to order physically in person, we wanted you to be able to see what percentage you were messing with last year that you didn't have to handle that went shipped online. Down here, you'll pick the number of girls you have selling this year, and it will calculate out 75% of your anticipated 2023 sale. So if you want to see what 100% looks like, you can come down here, pick 100%, and it'll show you what they anticipate, what the system uses 2022 data to anticipate your 2023 program. And so 318 for this troop cases is 75% of their sale. Again, just like new troops, we suggest this based on the fact that it'll save you from going to cupboards a bunch, depending on where you live. Getting to and from a cupboard can be a little harder, a little more time consuming, or depending on what your works, a lot of our cupboards are volunteers, and so they're working evenings and weekends with you. But we know that the more time you're spending on the road trying to go to a cupboard and pick up cookies, the more daunting and a little bit stressful the role of cookie manager can be. And so if you pick up 75% on the front end, it's a lot less of handling of cupboard transactions that you're doing back and forth. Again, if you're feeling a little nervous, like you might get stuck with something, by all means, definitely call your service unit cookie manager, call the council, we'll put asks out. And then when we get into anybody here after a bit, I can show you the exchange tab will come open on March 1st. And so after March 1st, you can actually list things out in the exchange. All right, Sachi, did we get the chat working?
Yes, that is good to go.
Okay.
There's a few questions in the chat and then in the Q&A as well.
Okay, so let's answer the Q&A real quick first. So the question is, the 50% calculation would additional to the paper order and online orders. So Deidre, yes, that 50%, sorry, it's not additional. This is including. So let me click over to eBuddy, but this 108, when you click into eBuddy, you're on your initial order tab, you would want, you would want that to match this case's order number down here. That's what that's calculating for. Angel, if you are a multi-level group, there is a multi-level drop down here because we do track that per girl average. We actually have a lot of multi-level troops. I'm not sure if that's normal across the nation, but for our council, we have quite a few multi-level troops. All right, and then if I'm in the chat, let me go up to the top. Yes, so Christy made a good point. If you're a new troop, make sure, I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but there's a new troop tab and a returning troop tab. Making sure you're on new troop. Shelby, when you click on new troop, everything is zeroed. Oh, yep, something just happened to this. I will look at that because it looks, Kachi, will you take a note? It looks like multi-level. There's something calculating funny. I will get that fixed after this meeting. Julie, returning troop is just there at the bottom, right next to it. Jesse asked, do we need to estimate the shipped cookies in initial order? No, shipped cookies, shipped doesn't open until February 27th this year because of the inventory challenges from the Baker National kept that closed. However, I wouldn't worry about those too much if you're a brand new troop. If you are a little nervous about it, I would take out our council average is 6%. And then just depending on how many girls or how many of your girls know a lot of out-of-state people, like as you saw on that returning troop tab, My daughter's troop, they don't know very many out-of-state people because they only sold 1.5 of their entire program online shipped. Dawn, I will double check for that, but yes, Juliet's are a little harder. So if you want, Tashi and I can work with you on the backside. Oh, Christine, let me go back through. I went pretty quickly. So the SIO tool, they were shared. If you got your Troop Cookie Manager newsletter and the important information, it was linked. Or if you go to our council website and you hover over Cookies Plus or Cookies Central, you scroll down here, the for volunteers section, if you go to Essential for Volunteers, they're sitting right here and you can open them as a Google or an Excel sheet. Steve, we will get to how to put paper orders in here in just a moment. I have the question, let me make sure, okay. Melissa asked, can we order more if we're expecting to sell more than last year and do booths, place our entire season expected order? Melissa, you absolutely can. The only thing I would just say is like really keep an eye on your stock. And if you're getting a little nervous, get a hold of somebody so we can help find troops. I would rather like move cookies away from you and then you have to like go grab some oddball things from a cupboard toward the very end for girl orders than for you to get stuck at March 12th and still have something, especially like a weird variety available. But if you are comfortable ordering 100%, absolutely you can. I have digital cookie sales show up in Troop Digital Cookie app that are not showing an eBuddy. How do I make sure they're an eBuddy? Josie, can you email me what your, that one's a little harder. If they're girl delivered under a girl, they should be showing up and I'll show you where here just shortly when we move into eBuddy. If they are donated, they're not going to show on the initial order tab. They're going to show on girl order tab and I can show you that as well. How much should we order to do boosts or is that already calculated? So Shelby, part of this sheet, if you're a brand new troop, it is calculating total order. Like if I pick that I'm a senior troop in Greenwood with 5 girls, it's going to look at what it expects my entire season to be, both online and in person. So it's calculating for booth sales. And then Jenna, let me get through initial order and then I can add. Tashi, will you make a note to make sure I don't forget to go back and just show how we'll put cupboard orders in once cupboards are open?
Will do.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's move into the next phase. So you've looked at the starting inventory order. Depending on the age of your troop, it's something important to talk to your girls about. My daughter's troop, the girls kind of trust the adults, and my troop leader looks at this and then talks to all of troop leadership, and as long as troop leadership agrees on her order, we put it in based on the historical data. So then you move into eBuddy, and when I'm in eBuddy and I log in, I'm going to land on my troop dashboard. I'm going to navigate to the initial order tab. Here is where you can see digital cookie girl delivered orders are going in. So for Adria, you can see her girl delivered's going in here. Let me see if I can, I don't want to go too small, but I would like if that showed. Sorry. And so then when you're ready to put her paper order in, depending on what day this week you want to enter your order, then you're going to put the paper orders in here. So if she has any donations, that's Cookies for a Cause, and then you'll just put them in. You put these in packages. You'll do that for each girl. And then, so like for this troop, for instance, cases to order right now, our packages ordered is 145. And then because it is cookie delivery and it's semi trucks and planes, moving and storage, employees loading your cars, everything comes in full case. A full case is 12 packages. So eBuddy is going to automatically round that up to the nearest full case. So for this troop, like you can see 6 toffees have been sold so far. They're gonna get 1 full case, and then it tells you at the bottom, they're gonna have 6 extra. So for this troop, they have 145 sold packages. They're gonna have 47 excess with this current order. And then when they're ready to put in their additionals, anything they want to cover extra girl orders, their first few weekends of boost, all of that, they're gonna click other, and they're gonna put these in. It tells you if you are a returning troops, your last year total is there. LY just means how many packages you ordered last year. Key that in, click save. And well, let me put a fake order in, because if I don't, well, I'm not going to, because if I hit submit, it's gonna stop flowing their digital cookie. I don't want to do that to them. So then let's say they're ready, they're gonna hit submit troop IO. And I'm realizing I really want to log into the demo because if I submit this troop, my daughter's troop leader is going to panic that her digital cookie stopped feeding over. Once you click submit IO, all digital cookie girl delivered stop feeding to the initial order tab, because then it locks in your total number of cases. So if I go, let's pretend I'm troop 1. Okay, so here, Natalie and Susie Scout, this is their sales. We were playing with them earlier this year to make sure all the rewards worked. So let's say my troop, I just want 5 more packages of everything for the troop. I'm gonna hit save. And then it's gonna come down here. I need 67, 22 packages. That rounds up to the nearest case, 562. And I'm gonna have 22 packages left in this breakdown here. I'm gonna have 7 extra Adventifulls, 3 extra Lemon Up, so on and so forth. And then I'm gonna hit submit troop order. This is gonna ask you if you're sure. This can be unlocked and changed through the end of day Friday. You can call our customer care team. So the product program team, so my team, the customer care team are both working until delivery locks up at 9:30 on Friday night to answer questions and help you get unlocked if you submitted and didn't mean to submit that quickly or want to change something. So it's okay to click submit order. We can unlock you if need be, but once you submit, all of girl delivered from digital cookie starts flowing to the girl orders tab, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a moment. So you've submitted your troop order, you're happy, you're ready to go. You're going to move on to the delivery tab. And you're going to decide what location you want to go to. So let's say they want to go to Anderson, and then they have so many packages of cookies, they need 4 slots. It tells them here they need 4 slots. So as they're scrolling through the schedule, they can make sure they pick somewhere that has 4 slots. A couple things it's going to ask you as well is who's picking up your cookies. Is it someone from your troop or someone from another troop? So if it's someone from another troop, all of this goes away. That other troop is asked to account for your sign up needs. And then if you're going to be picking up for more than one troop, you can click yes, and you can add those 5-digit troop numbers there so that you can add them to your sign up slot needs. Once you've picked your sign up slot here, you're going to click submit. And now I am all done. Everything's good. I can view my confirmation, and it tells me how many total cases I'm picking up, where, location, date, time, how many cars I need. I need 25 compact cars. If you're going to pick up 562 cases, just rent a U-Haul. It'll be way less headache on your part. And then it tells you to bring people to help, but remember to leave room for cookies, etc. The way that these vehicle numbers are calculated is based on 2 adults in the front seats, everything else clear out of the back seats. No kids, no groceries, none of that. Sorry, I had to stop for a drink. And it's accounting for, so like everything's cleaned up, but it also is not accounting for any kind of stow and go seating. So stow and goes, you can fit a little bit more. You can either have this emailed to you printed, or if you are in the mobile app, and I can jump here and show you mobile real quick, hopefully. Yep, so if you're in the mobile app, here's where I'm gonna go to cookies, delivery. You can view your confirmation. So it's never a bad thing to bring this. Our paperwork is gonna print out and it should match this. But it's never a bad thing to just have this handy to cross-check against our paperwork before you pick anything up. If you have somebody else you're gonna send to delivery, we don't care who you send to delivery. But if you have somebody else you're gonna send to delivery, same thing. If you want them to be able to cross-check it, just email them that confirmation. Kind of fun stuff. So let me roll back into eBuddy real quick, into regular eBuddy, because then I can show you. So right now, initial girl delivered is rolling in. You can see it here on Andrea. She's got 25 girl delivered. Once I hit submit Troop.io, that's gonna quit moving there. It's gonna lock that down so that nothing gets added to your initial order. And then it will start calculating here. So if I look at Andrea here, you can see all these delivered and then initial order locked. You can either, with her, look at an IO recap, look at all of her orders, look at girl delivered from IO. So as of right now, this is her girl delivered IO. As the week continues, that may change. Once I submit IO, I can look at girl delivered after IO, so after initial order, and see any of her additional orders. That's where they'll start to flow, and then we'll do more deep dive on digital and eBuddy next week. But one thing to note, once you hit submit, it's going to stop the flow of your digital cookie into the initial order tab. Once the council submits, which is actually not until Monday, we leave the weekend for troops who might have gotten behind and missed the deadline. They can get a hold of their service and cookie manager or get a hold of council Monday morning. We'll get it all put in for them. Once the council submits our initial order on Monday afternoon, we actually pause, or sorry, on Friday night, we're going to pause the flow of digital cookie. And until we submit on Monday, once everything's submitted to the baker, we'll unpause it, because what happens between Friday night and Monday is somebody might have an issue or might have accidentally hit submit. There's a lot of people who have council access, and sometimes we've had some of our high level volunteers accidentally submit like the whole council, and then we've had to unsubmit it with the baker. Well, if we hit unsubmit the entire council, then it changes everyone's initial orders, because suddenly the digital cookie starts flowing again to the initial order tab. So just know that in order to mitigate any of that issues, you will not see digital cookie orders rolling in at all into any part of eBuddy this weekend between 9 p.m. on Friday until sometime Monday afternoon or evening, once we've cleaned everything up and gotten everything submitted to the baker. All right, I see I have several questions in chat. So my first question, let's see. So I have one that says, I thought there was a place in digital cookie where parents are supposed to enter their order card and the cookie manager can see that. There is a place, but I learned like 5 minutes before this call that it seems to not be working. Let me log into my daughter's. I've put an email into GS USA. So on eBuddy, my cookies, I can enter my initial order paper order card here and save it. And then what will happen, sorry, I have to log into 2 different users to see different levels of digital cookie. What will happen at the troop level is I can scroll down and get a report. But one of our service unit cookie managers reported to me at about 7:40 or about 6:45 that for some reason that report is not updating for her. So I'm not sure if that's the best route. I think we're gonna probably have to keep it old school and just suggest that you have parents either text you or email you their order by variety, so you can just put that in. So people still order this weekend even though it's paused. So yes, digital cookie will keep running. It just will not be reporting anything into eBuddy over the weekend. Let me go over to the chat. We answered that. Can we just add the cookies in the other line item to match our 50% estimated total? Or do we need, oh, you can use, the question is, do you have to use other or can you use booth? You can use either of those. Like, as you can see, my daughter's troop leader uses other. It does not matter which one, that's just extra troop cookies. I'm not sure why Little Brownie has it broken out into 2 different lines. Sorry, I'm scrolling up. I answered that. When you put the number of packages, so when you put the number of packages for the other section, if you only put 5, you would still be required to get a full case, so that would leave 7. Amber, you are correct. I think the biggest thing to look at, and what my troop leader looks at when we're putting our order in is like right now, there are 9 lemon up packages ordered for digital cookie delivered. She would order 3 more and just push it to the next case. She would think of it like that. It's like, oh, she wants 7 cases for booths and extras, but she is picky enough that she would put in like, she wants it to look clean. So 7 cases and 3 packages, and then it would even everything out. And it would show 0 extras down here. But either way, they're going to be, whether they're sitting here saying extra or they're up here in your other or your booth line, they're going to be extras. Do the estimates for cookies used for booth get entered in the other line of the booth? Okay, I answered that. I have girls that have donated boxes in digital cookie that aren't coming up in eBuddy. They should be showing, because they are digital, they should be showing on your girl orders, or because they're donated, they should be showing on your girl orders tab and not your initial order tab, because you don't need to physically pick them up. So an example is here with Olivia. POC donated, she had 2, so those are flowing to the troops girl orders tab right now, and not to the initial order tab. And then, so just, I did have a question that if cookies are ordered on digital cookie as offline sale, will they show up in eBuddy? They will not. You will have to enter them yourselves. And so my troop leader, just like this Wednesday, like tomorrow night by 9 p.m., we have to have texted her our offline, our paper order card cells. That way she doesn't have to mess in digital cookie. Right, that's the way that functions right now is not as useful. So you could either have them enter in digital cookie and go in there and try to pull that report, but it doesn't seem it's working. So I would just have them text you or call you and give you their order. The next question we have was, do we fill out receipts for what is taken to booth or just the booth tracker form? Jesse, that's up to you. The booth tracker form does have a place for signatures. Let me pull that up for anybody who hasn't seen that yet. Under for volunteers, under cookie booths, there is the booth tracking form. You also got those 5 of them in your packet just to get you started. But there is this beginning of booth signatures that can act as a receipt. But I do know troop leaders who still do a regular receipt, so that they have that carbon copy. So that's up to you. My troop, this actually came from my troop started doing something very, very basic looking compared to this years ago, because our troop leader was tired of she wanted something that didn't match the little receipts. She wanted something that stood out as a booth paper, and then this booth page can go with them in the money box and come back in the money box. And then she keeps these year to year to have an idea of what to do. So like if she worked a Walmart on a Saturday, she even goes as far as on the back, there's credit card tracking. She makes a little note as well for like weather, like was it raining? Was it cold? Was it warm? Was it dry? All that. Like she's gone that far. You don't have to go that far. But this can act as your receipt as long as you're comfortable with that. All right, and then I have a question about once you have submitted your initial order, and then we get further into the program and you need more cookies, we'll have a training on this as we get closer to that. But what will happen is you'll go to the transactions tab, and you can do this as early as after the initial order submits. So you can add an order. Sorry, I keep having to move this like bar you guys can't see on my screen. You just pick what cupboard you want to go to. Let's say I want to go to Johnson Franklin. I want to go, you can see her hours on the 14th. On the 14th, it's going to give me the times. I can then pick say I want 3 o'clock. I'm going to put how many cases and packages I want, and then I would hit save. So I'm going to panic Connie, who, when I put my order in. So then you'll see it here. You can then see if it's ready for pickup. So what will happen is that cupboard will see it, and then most of our cupboards will pull ahead of time and mark it ready for pickup. You don't have to have it say ready for pickup until you actually are there. So some of our cupboards will wait till you get there. They'll pull the order with you. They'll mark it ready for pickup. Once it's ready for pickup, you'll be able to approve it within that eBuddy app. And then you can also see your pendings. And so if you wanted to change it or delete it prior to it being, as long as within the 48 hours, you can go in here and either update it or delete it. So for me, I'm going to delete it so that Connie doesn't panic. That is how you will be able to do cupboard orders, and we'll have a more in-depth Tuesday night as we get closer to that time. I had a question. Do you fill out the booth tracker form every time a girl adult leaves and new ones arrive if you're doing shifts? Christy, our cookie manager does. And this really comes down to your troop's philosophy on how you want to credit booths. So there are 2 main philosophies on how troops credit booth sales. The first one being whatever the girl worked, she gets. So that philosophy would mean if you have 2 shifts, shift 1, whatever was sold then, those 2 girls split it. And then shift 2, whatever was sold then, those 2 girls split it evenly. And that philosophy comes down to, depending on the girl and how active those girls are asking, because the number one reason customers don't buy cookies is they don't get asked. And as somebody who sold cookies for 12 years and has put 2 troops through thus far, that is so true. If I have a girl standing at a booth not asking, people just walk by. If I have a girl standing at a booth asking, most people at least stop and talk to her. Some will buy, some won't. But if a girl is just standing there not asking at all, most customers do not, like, they want to see a girl engaging. And so that philosophy of if she sold these 2 hours at the Lowe's, her and another girl, they split that evenly, and they get credit for their shift. The second philosophy is some troops wait until the end of booth season. They add all their booth cookies up, and they either do one of 2 things. First thing, they divide it evenly amongst all girls in the troop, as long as they worked a booth. Didn't matter how many hours they worked, they divide it evenly. Other troops say, okay, I had 100 packages, we worked 10 hours, that's 10 packages an hour. Susie Scout worked 5 of those hours, so she gets 50. Sally Scout worked 2 of those hours, so she gets 20, and they get more in depth there. And then as we get closer to booth season, we'll do a little bit deeper of a dive. However, if you go to your booth sales tab, because it's not happened yet, after this happens, you'll have to be able to click this. There'll be a button here called record sale. So when we get closer to booth season, one of our Tuesday nights will be devoted to that. We can go over it in more depth, but you'll be able to record it, and it'll allow you to decide who it's being credited to. So the nice thing about that is if you want to wait till the very end and record them all at that time, you can do that. You don't have to use the record booth sale option either. You can just go into the girl orders tab, click on the girl you want to credit, add an order. I always suggest your comment be very detailed, like Walmart on 2/17, 2 to 4. And then you can click it as a booth and then credit the girl for any cookies and money and click save. So it's really up to you. Like I said, we'll go over that in more depth as we get a little closer. We'll do a whole tutorial on one of these. Oh, yep, Christine. So right now, digital cookie orders are flowing into eBuddy. Initial or girl delivered orders are flowing to the initial order tab. Donated orders And so you can see the totals because it's technically an initial order, but they're flowing into the girl orders tab. On Friday night at 9 p.m. after initial order has locked for the entire council, we as a council will pause digital cookie flow. So any orders that happen after 9 p.m. on Friday until somewhere in the late afternoon, early evening on Monday, you'll see those in digital cookie, but you won't see them showing up yet in eBuddy because we'll have paused them. And that's just to make sure that if something goes wrong and we have to unsubmit the entire council order, fix something and resubmit it to the baker, that we don't end up with it, because it'll change your initial orders. And we learned that the hard way a couple of years ago. We had to unsubmit because one of our lovely cupboard volunteers was trying to submit something else and accidentally submitted the whole council. All right, so, and then delivery, I showed you delivery confirmation. So when you get to delivery, for those who have never been to a cookie delivery before, when you get to delivery, you're gonna pull up and there's gonna be at minimum one large semi. And what will happen is you'll pull up, there'll be a volunteer or a planes crew member to check you in. They'll give you your paper that just tells you how many you're getting of each variety, and you'll pull up to the semi. You should, if you can't bring a second person to be your counter, you'll pull up, park your car, get out and count. The biggest thing that I preach every year is the bakery pays planes to do white glove service, which means not only do they load your car for you, but if you lose count, it is absolutely 100% okay to stop them, make them unload, anything that you need to do to ensure that your count is correct. Because you have 24 hours to get home, unload, double count, and report any shortages or overages. If you're short, we will work with a local cupboard to get your cookies to you before cupboards open. If you're over, you can either choose to keep them and we'll give you credit so you can credit the girls for them, or we'll work with you to get them back to a local cupboard. So the biggest thing is the crews are lovely and they often be like, oh no, I've been counting, you're fine. Like, no. If I don't have the count as the troop leader, then I'm not signing for anything. And that's how I would encourage you to do that. I, as a troop person, I go to delivery with my troop leader to help her out. And absolutely, if I, as the troop person, cannot guarantee that I got 20 cases of thinness, I'm not signing anything until I can guarantee that. And if that means they need to unload my car, let me count them again and reload them. That is absolutely fine. Do not forget, like, they work for us. Please, please, please do everything in your power just to make sure that you have the count. You can either bring a counter with you and a driver so that somebody's just moving the car up. Because on the semi, there will be 2 doors. You're going to pull up to one door, get half of your varieties, pull up to the second door, get the other half. So please, please, please just do not be scared to tell them, hey, I lost count. Or if something looks damaged and you don't want it, they've got extra on the truck, don't take it, refuse it. That's okay too. Then I had a question. It said, you're pausing 9 p.m. on Friday. If we submit our initial order at 3 p.m. on Friday, what happens to those online orders between 3 and 9? So what will happen is your girl delivered start flowing to the girl orders tab at that time. And there's not a good example of that right now. We'll do a little bit deeper dive next week, because right now, because they are initial order, you're able to, if you're looking at Adria, you're able to see like her initial orders down here, but they'll flow in like these ones up top. So digital cookie, it'll have 0 cookies credited to the girl, but the money. And so that's what will start happening between 3 and 9. And then you'll just kind of see all of that cease for the weekend. And then when we turn it back on Monday night, it'll catch everything up. And by Tuesday, you should be fully caught up with it syncing over to digital cookie. That is all I have tonight. Does anybody have questions about initial order, the starting inventory order tool, delivery, anything else that's pressing that you have a question about that you'd like me to answer? We have about 15 minutes. So I will stay on until unless nobody has any questions, but you're free to go. Thank you. This is being recorded. I will pull the recording and email it out tomorrow afternoon in eBuddy, and then we'll get it over to our web admin so she can get it up on the website in case you ever want to go back and rewatch it later.
It does look like Leah has her hand raised.
Oh, okay. Do you want to? Leah, I have clicked to unmute. You should be able to talk now. Okay, let's move on to Yoshida. Can you? I cannot hear you, but I see you're unmuted. Okay. I'm going to lower all hands, and then if you still had a question, go ahead and raise your hand. I do have one. I have a couple that have come in the chat. What is the purpose of the cookie tool? Is it the starting inventory order tool? The purpose of that is just to help you estimate what you would like to order. So if you're a brand new troop, it's utilizing data from past troops at that same age level service unit to help you estimate, kind of anticipate what your sales is going to look like for the entire year so that you can make a more educated order in the system. I have another question. So when they fill in the money total, but not cookie info, should parents track what cookies are being ordered? Will that info come later? And I had a similar question of how do you see initial order versus, or after initial order for girl delivered? I can't easily show you right now because we don't have anything to show like post girl delivered. But you'll be able to go to the girl orders tab. I'm going to click on Adria. And then if I go down here, girl delivered initial order, this is everything that will be counted on the initial order tab. And then after I hit submit, they'll start showing up on girl delivered after IO. So that way I can see. You have two ways of handling that with your parents, either making them keep track and turn a number into you, or you can go over here and when they say, hey, I'm coming to get more cookies, you can double check and see if they're for any of these girl delivered or not. So my True Cookie Manager, often our parents will say, hey, I had 2 new girl delivered orders come in. Can I come pick those up on Monday or whatever? She doesn't ever ask them what it is. She's just keeping track. And then on her cookie receipt, in her cookie receipt book, she's tracking those like last 4 digits. Let me go. So like for here, she's tracking these 4-digit numbers on the side. So she knows what girl delivered have been handed out to that child. Do I have any other cookie questions? And we'll go more in depth next Tuesday night after everything started flowing again. We can see that post IO, post initial order girl delivered rolling in. And we'll really talk through digital and eBuddy. Well, thank you so much. If anybody has questions, I'm here online. If not, have a good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. And good luck this week as we continue to move through booth signups and get our initial orders in. I have a good question about how do parents know who girl delivered goes to? Let me show you. Let me log out of my, let me log into my daughters. There we go. So you can either click on orders up here and it'll take you to your orders, or on your dashboard, orders to deliver. I have 7 orders, so it drags me there. They had to enter their name and address, and I can select all and export all my orders and put them in an Excel file if I like. Or, and then I can also, like, if I click here and let's say I've delivered to Danielle, I can click order delivered, and then it moves it. It keeps moving it down so that you can see what still needs delivered and what has been delivered. And then from a troop level, sorry, I should have set him up as the cookie. From a troop level, as a troop leader, I can see how many girl delivered orders are pending approval from parents, and then how many are pending delivery. So if you as a troop leader are a little nervous that a girl hasn't gotten it approved, like I can see that Lillian in my daughter's troop has 4 orders that she needs to approve. So I can message her mom and be like, hey, don't forget to approve those. And then I can also just see like how many are, this number should get smaller as your parents are tracking that they have delivered them. So they can, and then, sorry, I should have, one thing I didn't show you is that I can click on that order, see what they ordered. So for Danielle, if I click on her name in green, I can see where to order it, and I can see what her order was. And if you export it into Excel, it does the same thing. It tells you where to deliver it, what she ordered. I usually get this out and have my daughter work from it so she can highlight as she packs them into boxes or bags, whatever, you know, depending on the size. All right, any other questions? We got 10 more minutes. Kashi, I see your direct message. I don't have a way to do that.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm like, that's why that's why I use pre's mostly, but I realized that there was one sitting there that I didn't realize I thought it had the work address on it. That's why I was like, let me click away. I've lost there we go. All right, thank you. Have a good evening, everyone. I'll stay on until everyone's logged off just to make sure we don't have any more questions, but thank you, and good luck this week.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Oh, another question just popped in, Ashley.
Oh, yep. So Elizabeth, what you can do, you can either put paper orders in first or use the Excel file. The Excel file is just going to give you like what we would suggest is 50% of your anticipated sale. So like 58 pieces. So then if you're in eBuddy, once your girl orders are all in, you would just subtract out. You'd see where your total packages are at, and then you would subtract it from this total package number and order the difference. Angie, so the question was, what's the best strategy to get parents their daughter's cookies, have them pick up, deliver to them, etc. I would do a pickup day. What our cookie manager does is she'll pick a Saturday cookie delivery, and then she'll set a time 24 or 48 hours later, and then she's very picky. Like there's like a 2-hour window. We have to let her know and sign up ahead of time. And so we have to go to her to pick up. And I would definitely do that because you're the troop cookie manager, so you're doing a lot of heavy lifting already. Depending on the size of the order, some troops will take them to the next troop meeting if they're small enough. But if you have anybody ordering anything real hefty, especially, I would have them come pick up from you. All right, we got a few more minutes if anybody else has any questions. And then yes, always use receipts. Good reminder, Julie. Well, that's all I have. If we have any more questions, again, I will definitely stick around. Oh, here's a good question. How many booths do you suggest for daisies? I would start out with like however many girls you have interested. Booth etiquette are with hotspots, the ones that council has secured. It's no more than 2 girls and 2 adults. So let's say you had 6 girls in your troop. I would, 1, get their parents engaged and get them to register and go to those booths with them. 2, I would only do like 1 booth per girl, see how that goes. If you have any non-hotspot area, like any mom and pops or local stores that would let you set up inside, that might be the better route, because all of our hotspots, all of our chain stores rarely will let you in, depending on weather, but most of the time you're going to be stuck outside. But I would just do a small handful. And then, yeah, like Julie just said, split the shift if you can into 2 1-hours. So have your parents come trade out girls halfway through the shift. But the flip side of that too is, depending on how go-getter your girls are, I have had a Daisy daughter my daughter was so gung-ho about cookies that she would be upset when the booth was over, and we ended up having to get more booths. So I would just feel it out with them this year. And if you want to pick up more booths, usually booths start to free up as people hit their goals. They'll start dropping booths too. So if you have girls that end up gung-ho and really enjoying it and you want more booths, you'll probably see some pop open. All right, 5 more minutes if we have any other questions. All right, I don't see any others, so I'm going to go ahead and end the call. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.